everybody, and welcome to the Wholesome Initial channel and another short hot shop tips. And there's been a debate raging for decades, ever since Oregon came on the market and offered chainsaw chains, and of course Stihl. There's only essentially two manufacturers of chain on the market. One is Stihl, and of course the other is Oregon. And Oregon, you know, I know that there's going to be screams of discontent here where, well, I have a Husky chain, or I have a Bailey chain, or I have this chain, or I have that chain. Those off-brands all come out of the same factory out of China, so along with Oregon chain. And you guys by now know my stance on made in China. The Stihl chain comes out of a factory in Switzerland. It's Swiss made. And the quality of steel in the chain, in the Stihl chain, is much better. When I was cutting timber commercially, I would buy my chain by the roll. And on the wholesale market, the price difference between Oregon chain and Stihl chain, it's minimal. I think it was back then like less than $10 a roll. So I just buy a roll of chain, make my chains, and then run for the year, and then you know, buy a new roll the next year. And they supply you with the links if you have your own tools. When I get stateside again, I'll have to crack out my chain making tools and show how that's done. It's really a simple procedure. But anyway. The life expectancy of a chain made by Stihl is roughly about 30 to 40% longer than the Oregon chain. Again, when I was cutting timber, my Oregon chain would last me maybe a tank filling, maybe two at the most, depending on you know, the timber type I was in, and if there was any moss at the bases of the trees, because moss will harbor some dust and dirt, and that dulls your chain pretty quickly. A Stihl chain I could run pretty much all day if I didn't run it into the dirt or hit a rock. The life expectancy out of a Stihl chain was a whole lot longer, or better say the working time on the saw, as long as there weren't any, you know, and of course I did rock a chain every now and again, or, you know, get it, sink it in the dirt, and so I had to take it off and put a fresh one on. When you're cutting timber, you're always carrying 3 or 4 chains as a spare in your pack, just for that eventuality. So it's one of those things you got to come prepared. With Oregon chain, like I say, a tank filling, maybe 2, and then I'd have to change. The other thing about Oregon chain is it stretches. It's like a rubber band. Of course, they all stretch. The Stihl chain will stretch as well, but over the over the complete lifetime, and I'm talking, you know, I sharpen the teeth on my saw, of course on a grinder. You guys have seen it all. When these teeth start coming off, that's when it's time to you know, break out a new chain, so to speak. Sounds crazy, but you know, you want to get the most of the goodie out of the chain as you can. Whereas Oregon chain, the teeth would come off a lot sooner, and then of course it dulls a lot sooner. In hemlock, I'd even see the chrome peeling off the teeth on Oregon chain, whereas the Stihl, granted, it dulls a little quicker, but than it would in other species, but it didn't lose the chrome, unless of course you hit a rock or something. But other than that, the Stihl chain would hold up a whole lot longer. And with the stretching part again, about halfway through the life of the Oregon chain, I'd have to take a driver out of the, you know, a driving link out of the chain and shorten it up. Now this bar here takes 98 drivers. Or the chain, I better, you know, should say, it takes 98 drivers. And so if this chain were an Oregon chain, maybe 1 or 2 more sharpenings, and I would have to, I'd run out of travel on the chain tensioner, and then I'd have to take a link out of the chain in order to shorten it up to get it to fit again, to where it didn't sag through and you know, keep flipping off and whatever. So. But anyway, that's my take, my opinion on it all. I know guys that have had a lot of good experience with Oregon chain. I've had the good fortune of being able to run both and get a first-hand look at how the chains fare and how they act, and you know, the life expectancy and so forth. So take it for what it's worth. If you're now on a retail level, here's the thing that really grates on me. You know, chain dealers or when you go into a saw shop, the Oregon chain as a loop is a whole lot cheaper than it is by the, you know, than the Stihl chain. This is where these outfits kind of start gouging people. They charge more for the Stihl chain because they can. It has nothing to do with the wholesale price. Like I say, you know, if you're on a budget, some guys are. It just, you know, do the best you can. But know what you're getting into when you walk in the door of a saw shop. So anyway, hope that kind of settles some of the debates and answers some of the questions that a lot of folks have when they're, you know, getting into this kind of stuff. Like I say, Stihl chain quality, you know, qualitatively miles ahead of Oregon chain any day of the week. So with that, thanks for stopping by. So that's a wrap for today's little hot shop tip. I hope you guys were able to glean a little useful information out of today's presentation. If you have any thoughts, comments, critiques, questions, or just comments in general, by all means, put them in the comment section below. A little interaction is always welcome. I'll read all the comments. So if there's anything that's on your mind, by all means, let it loose in the comment section. With that, thanks for stopping by, thanks for watching, and we hope to see you all again soon in the next video.